Okay, let's get it, folks. I tell you, helps to hit the mic. Anyway, how's everybody doing today? We're back on a Monday. Obviously, a lot to talk about. And we'll start right with the crypto space because does anybody have a real idea? It seems like this thing's going to go out of business. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. Thanks for showing up. We're here Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And we do the Harmonic Pattern podcast where we look at everything from the framework of harmonic patterns, which is the advantage. Yeah, I tried to reach out to SBF today. I don't know if he's going to be able to join us on the webinar, on the live stream. If you saw my tweet, I offered him a little personal loan, but it didn't work. He's got to be hiding. It's amazing. We'll look at a couple of those coins. I just don't know where this all goes. I think it's still comes down to looking at the patterns, the framework, the price action, and we'll go through the top 5 list. What's going on? Great to see everybody in the chat. Hey, Niall, welcome. My people are from Ireland, probably. Carney, Ireland, gotta be. Yep, we'll look at Sol, sure. We'll look at Solana. We'll go through the top 5 because, you know, the top 5 crypto, I changed that where we're now still focused on the Ethereum Gartley situation. It's a beautiful pattern. The software is kicking it out, and we've been pretty much in front of it since the completion back in September. And then probably even better, I would say that we were really on top of the return situation that completed that reaction, which we were talking about, and then saying, hey, this has to come back for the retest. That's where it has to go. You know, we were saying 1225. It got down to 1070. The other thing about it is confirmation was generated on that retest. But we look for the check back. Why? It's the secondary test. That secondary test always takes more time. So be more patient. Wait 3 to 5 bars after completion, especially when you have really clear signs of sharp price action. I've been saying take every one of these crypto independently. Don't try to, cross-analyze one to the other to try to get some kind of edge, because I don't think it's happening. The individual blow-ups that are completely demolishing any harmonic pattern structure are pretty obvious. And even with this, I think this is an ideal framework 1-2, but the retest is, super strong. Would you jump in front of that knife when it's fallen 30% in 2 sessions? Do you need to? Maybe if you're a quick trader, but I don't think we need to. I think this is the kind of stuff where we're at this point in this cycle where maybe you have a nice type 1 reaction. And I've been saying for a long time, really since probably March or April, that anything is just a reaction. Hopefully a good one, but we haven't even seen any really big reactions, bar a few. But what we're looking at in Ethereum, why it's the #1 crypto to be monitoring, is that you have ideal structure. You have a larger pattern there. We don't like the price action. And so that's all right. You don't have to do anything. You could wait. We do have this other pattern that's getting generated by the software, and it's because the symmetry of the structure, this M formation, got thrown off in recent sessions. Hold on one second. Take a look. The quick return phase, like dropping 30% in 2 days, does kind of wreck even the smoother. Let's get to the bat pattern. Here it is. This bat pattern. No matter what the structure is, and this is an important thing, we're always looking for the follow through arrow. Okay, so if you're fairly new to this and you're wondering where do I take the trade, well, you don't do anything until you see the sun icon and then the arrow. And all of your decisions are to the right of that arrow. So where are we in the process of even that bat pattern or even Ethereum in general? Is it an opportunity? No, it's a couple, still a few more things that need to happen. Check back confirmation to 1070, I think, would be a minimum on this move. And also look what we've done last few days. Just a couple of inside days, no follow through after the 1 day bounce. That we've seen that before. So, yeah, you know what? Laser D, that's a great comment because he's saying the Gartley turned into a bat. Well, this is I hate saying this with the different data feeds, which is a problem with crypto for sure. You can't get there's so many of these feeds and data exchanges that don't really have a unified consensus quote. It does vary broker to broker way too much. But what happens depending on your data feed is that yes, you do have a bat pattern depending on what data feed, but the primary Gartley that we outlined in October gave us the reaction and then even set up for the return up here with HSI and everything. That still was effective engaging what's the possibility of this thrust move. Because we knew it was only going to be short-lived up to target 1, target 2. And we look for some kind of retest. So we do want to favor that bat pattern. And I would look deeper here at this whole HSI 886. This was good for a reaction. That's about it. But that's okay. That's what we expected. And you drop 30% on your type 2 return phase. That's a warning sign. So anyway, that's why Ethereum was our number one and still is. You also have these larger crab patterns. You have some structures down here. Where's the crab pattern? There you go. All right, so you're trying to flash some back-to-back. That's Bybit. The perpetual contracts, like on Bybit, I think that's their futures. That's a pretty good one because you want to project it off of that low, really. But it's a back-to-back pattern with lower targets. Okay, this is the other thing is that even if you're going on all, let's say you're the biggest contrarian in the world right now and you love crypto, I mean, my hat's off to you. But if you're looking, as we've been saying all along, crypto at the right price. Crypto at the right price. Is that Bitcoin or Ethereum? Much lower from here, or is this a bargain? I don't think anybody really knows because fundamentally, what's behind it, what's trading it, the stakeholders, are people really going to hold on and get evaporated and not care? Or is the leverage completely out after last week? No matter what, signals are lower, levels are lower, possibilities of what the patterns have been doing still lower, or at least more time until you get some clear triggers. If it's Ethereum, ideally, again, 1070, 1080, check back, retest, even off of that bat pattern. And then we'll take a look. My guess is that when this does decide to come down in the next few days and retest the lows, is that there's probably more flush. Thanks, David. Yeah, I hope so. I hope, with crypto and everything that we've gone through in the space, in the face of all these geniuses, these psycho nerds, quite frankly, psychopathic nerd, geniuses that had a lot of people's attention for the last couple of years and then abused it, like really abused fundamental trading, just fundamental trading qualities, values, kind of taking it for granted. And that's a real shame because again, I have, I think a lot of this is reminiscent of 2008. You're almost there. Think about this. Okay, the Madoff scandal, he took people for about 65 billion over the course of decades. This guy took SBF took 32 billion in the course of about 2 years. Think about that. Think about that. Madoff spent decades, and then he really didn't even get into big trouble until the last 10, 15 years of his operation. But he was, scamming a long time. But the magnitude and the rapidity for which this guy was able to attract funds and the top celebrities all on basically his own self-created nerd hype, in light of everything we've been talking about with the patterns pointing us to lower possible targets, and I implore everyone, especially crypto people, go back and look at the stuff we've been saying, people in the Discord have been saying, our past videos, March, April, or even you guys know what I was saying about Doge, all of that. It's where, if you're going to try to do this, you're going to have to measure what you do. There's no escaping it. You're either going to do it mindlessly because you're not going to measure, but you're poor trading or not reading the signs, not reading basic TA to put that in your favor. You're gonna pay the price like a lot of the investors did, or outline, measure, framework, structure, strategize. Okay, yeah, I mean, a lot of people are saying all of this is a scam. Who knows? I've been saying this is all speculation. Right now, clearly, with the things that are going on, the liquidations going on, be aware that's your current speculative environment. I can't believe that FTM or that token is even still trading. Let me just pop it up really quick. FTT. Amazing. But go to the 1 minute chart, 5 minute chart actually. Yeah, that was this morning. That was this morning. Actually, almost did a 50% move. There's been a couple of 50% thrusts as this thing goes to zero, because this is doing a Luna. Amazing. Here's also something to take note of. This is a 5 minute chart. Okay, how many of these 5 minute patterns have given for FTT? Not saying to even mess with it, but it's an example in reactive behavior. Many bullish patterns giving you beautiful reactions. Every one of them coming down for the retest and failing. There's the retest, fail. Form another pattern, reaction, rollover, fail. Shows you two things, even in the worst of trends, those bullish patterns are going to give you an impressive reaction that could easily bait you in if you were looking for something. Otherwise, we know where the larger opportunities are going to fall, and that's on the retest. And if it doesn't happen on the retest, or you don't have confirmation, it keeps failing like this has. That's on a 1 minute chart going back a day, 2 days. Look at that. Look at all those patterns. Every one of them, just a simple reaction. And just keep going lower. That's what's happening on the larger time frames with most crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Pretty interesting stuff. But let's get back to our top 10. So our top 5. Remember our top 5. Okay, we moved that around. We went from, I was talking Doge a little bit, and Doge is trying to hang in there. We'll get to that in a second. But Binance Coin, look, targets on their back. Targets on the Binance BNB back. Here you go. Because, first of all, we've talked about some crazy patterns, and this retest that we were looking at, remember last week we were in here and it did the crazy spike above the hop level where we're like, is this going to break out? Is this doing something where it's going to, something's going on? Some kind of market changing events going on with crypto where BNB is finally going to break out? No, it's just, this is that overspill variation. It's from our perspective, what we've been talking about, anticipating that type 2 return. This one got to the hop 330. Anything above that 330, is such light trading. Okay, probably manipulative buying behavior above where that thing should have turned around. And then maybe what this is somebody getting caught short and then their own traders running that stop. I mean, seriously, I have to think that if you're trading, Ethereum, trading any of these movements in crypto, you're trying to, all right, just know that your broker has a team of guys that know where all the orders are, okay, and they're going to run it. It explains why not only the patterns have been overrunning a lot of zones and going to the hop level, okay, but the reactions have been going to T2s a lot of the time. And again, it's an element where it's kind of like options, but no, this is worse. This is worse. Knowing what we know now, and after especially the whole summer, you got to know that even in a place like Binance, okay, they have their own set of traders or associated traders that are certainly involved, okay? Involved, trading against me and you. The patterns are still going to form, but it explains why we're getting, again, the overspills. But I don't think they can escape it because it takes a lot of money to do major moves. It took a lot of money to move that like that. And someone got slaughtered there. Absolutely. Probably got caught up in a short close to 400 and then, drops to 258 in 24 hours. Yeah, that's a lot of shenanigan. But the structure says, all right, 278, you're going to have a real problem in Binance Coin under 278, under these lows. You go under 250, call it, anything under 250. Then you go back to this big weekly scenario. Maybe even better on the monthly. Because that's a massive weekly bearish engulfing at a really tough spot where just last week we said, hey, what's the possibility this thing could try to break out even if we stretched out? Like, could this be something like this, and then you start to get to the right of that downtrend and get going? You'll know right here, 278 on Binance Coin. So that's really the thing to watch out for as like the number 2. Also, a lot of people would be dismissive, I think, of this price action. But take a look at where the BNB big swing terminated. Right there. What's that? 382 right off the top. Okay. So despite that huge wick up last week where they ran it to 380 plus, that was a 382 bearish retracement. What happens here is going to tell us. I mean, again, you know this is that 382 sets off a reaction. Do we go to the 50, which is basically where you are now, or are we going to do a deeper retracement? 618, haven't hit that, or even 886. You'll know. Another day or two. That's why Binance Coin's number 2. Let's put Bitcoin number 3 now, because you're just waiting for the drop, waiting for the breakdown week over week. Violate last week's low, 1550. What's that? 15,588. That's it. Drop down 700 points, something like that. And the thing that, take everything out of it. Let's just talk measurements. Let's think of like where this could. What are the targets here? If this was going to terminate in a really ideal harmonic way, how would it do it? And I said this last week. I think you set this little segment up that goes from May to June, and you've been consolidating. Clearly, you're breaking down, but then this becomes maybe like a small deep crab here, or some kind of 1618 2.0 divergence move. Something like that, where the whole last of the 6 months is this grinding consolidation, throw you down into a capitulation move. Where's that? 11,000. That 11,000 mark, we've been talking about that for months. Probably really flirted with the idea of 5 months ago, 6 months ago. Then the breakdown was pretty ideal. And the 886 level, again, everybody knows this, but now you're so close, it's almost like a no-brainer. That's 11,866. Call it 11.8. Lines up with the last ditch down to 1618. So think of that. Use the measurements. Use respect the obvious signs. I mean, respect the price action. Most people are not looking at harmonic patterns. And they're just looking at price action, just saying, wow, another not only bearish engulfing, but that's like a 7-bar range violation, 7 prior bars or 10 prior bars. It could be like that. Could be like that bar. Every time you violated a substantial low, you had continuation, minimum 1618 continuation. 11,000. That's 11.8 would be the minimum level. I'm okay with that. What about accumulation phase at an 886? On Bitcoin? No, because what we're talking about are the structures, measurements as targets to where this could end, not necessarily to jump right on in. Hey, if we had a whole bunch of stuff come down to your 886 and you get confirmation and it all happens here, you're still weeks away before it could go sideways, maybe form some kind of small pattern to the right of that downtrend. But I mean, this thing is just, there's nothing there. There's nothing there, and it's rolled over. The bearish HSI that happened back in, what's that weekly chart, in August, has been devastating ever since. And think of it this way, you're probably going to go into 30 weeks. You're in like a 30 weeks down cycle of HSI. And that's pretty common. I mean, it's a good way to count the windows of saying, all right, what's the maximum amount of bars can I ride an HSI signal? Well, anywhere I think from like 15 to 30, 30 being an optimal long range one. But look, bearish signal, and then we're down 12 weeks. more, and HSI is still rolling over. There's just nothing there for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin would need to capitulate. Final thing about Bitcoin, pretty common in the last few lows. If you're looking for a low, I mean, Bitcoin might be eventually immune to everything because of all the other shenanigans, because of its security, but it's at what price? In 2020, you went from 10,000 to 4,000 in a matter of 3-4 weeks tops. 55+% correction off of that high. Think percentages as well. It's critical. Think those percentages. Where's the other? And then the other one. So they both had bullish bat patterns too. Where's the prior one? Hold on. I don't know why I don't have that. Let me check. I don't have the total feed. Oh, let me pop the Coinbase and on that one too. All right. Let's show these patterns here. The weekly. There you go. Why should it? We're at this point. Why shouldn't we get another bullish weekly pattern like Bitcoin gave us the last 2 times? Are we going to use it? Are we gonna follow the harmonic patterns or not? And just wait, because that's where we are. The software will kick it out. Trust me. I know where the algos are in terms of how soon this does turn on. It won't turn on until it's really close to the 886. But it'll look something like this. All right, and you'll come down and probably get to the zone. It'll probably, the pending pattern will probably go on at about 11, 8, 12,000, and then you'll get the 886 down there. But take a look. That would be the third big bat pattern, okay, in the last 5 years. And just even take a look at how this one, the first one from 2018, going from 7,000 down to the low at 3,000. That's a 50% correction in a very short period of time. You need a flush like that. And I'll give you everybody, I'll give you the other signal that we will sit for and wait and wait and wait and wait. Okay? I mean, if you're a crypto believer, okay, good luck to you. But let's get measuring and let's look for not only the pattern to complete, but then a week, 3 weeks later, confirmation that we saw the last 2 times. All right, and then here's the other pattern. I mean, I didn't have the software back then, but who knew? But check out the Gartley. This is the 2015 cycle. Massive Gartley software is kicking that out. Beautiful HSI after the fact. These are the signs we're going to look for on the weekly chart for Bitcoin. If you think Bitcoin is going to survive after all this nonsense, probably will, but at what price? You think 20,000 is a bargain? You think 15,000 is a bargain? Is 3,000 a bargain? Really, at what price? But we'll get the signals. We'll get the pattern. We'll get the confirmation. And even if you didn't even know that, didn't have it, didn't get the software, okay, you would at least want to recognize that your final phase in every one of these is somewhere in the ballpark of about a 45 to 55% correction into the final low. And then you get corresponding stabilization, HSI behavior that, here, massive delayed reaction, but take a look. Even in this 2015 case, you had plenty of time because it broke the trend line and went sideways at a beautiful pattern and then really took off. This is the behavior that has failed to take shape on any major pattern except for one or two. So maybe that starts into the spring of next year with the current setup, but you're still, you have to complete the pattern. You have to trigger the HSI and then get the follow through, but you'll be in the right spot. So right now, you're not in the right spot. And we have plenty of reasons why that could fall. Again, 11.8, or I'll throw even one more out there. I think 11.8 is a minimum. We've been flirting with that number forever. And then go to, all right, our deep crab pattern. The other deep crab pattern, this one on the Coinbase feed, is around 11,000. And I think that's pretty fair kind of a estimation. There were other feeds that were showing larger patterns at 8,700. But at what price level can we do a 40 to 50% drop in a short period of time to finalize the decline? Come down to even as low as something like that. The rest of them, you know, if I was looking at coins that are still holding up, like Binance coin, I'd be looking for places to sell that, because I don't think anybody's going to be immune. So that's number 3. Number 4 was Doge. Kind of moved that, trying to hold up here. Take a look. Daily HSI was triggered, almost checked back around 7.8. We had this 4-hour pattern on Doge. So look, I'm not saying to get involved with it. Monitor it. Plenty of time. There's the pattern. Okay, the 4-hour pattern's even taking its time. Monitor it. You don't have to do anything yet. And even with Doge, it would be something like this. Go up, come finish that reaction, and then come back down. Until you get these retests, you're not going to get anything more than a reaction. The final one, which doesn't seem like much now, it was all the rave a couple weeks ago, was Cosmos. And take a look at the type 2 that happened. Well, we had the bearish patterns up there. But yeah, here you go. So we had the bat. It was a Gartley and a bat. And we were saying it's either 11 or 8. I'm going to say 8. Here's the bat pattern. Oh wait, no, my fault. That's the current bat. Where's the Gartley? This was like Ethereum. It had a smaller Gartley at first. Here it is. Sorry. This was the structure we were working with. Yes, it did change. Software is showing on some other feeds, it's now showing a bat, but it's still, like Ethereum, followed the type 1 reaction, came back down. Now you're type 2 in that same area, but there's still no confirmation. And that's why we'd wait for confirmation. Look, you almost got there, didn't hit it. Hop level is 898 for Cosmos. Nothing's changed. Rocky Free, what's going on? He says, survived Mount Gox and Silk Road. BTC will be fine. And you could be right. BTC as an entity, as a thing, because it can't be hijacked like you've seen these other models. Like that model, that FTX model's dead. All right, you could be right. But let's get the patterns. Let's get the signals to define this cycle low. Until then, look, I moved some money. I moved more money off exchanges last week. I moved more money off of Coinbase. I think I still have maybe some kind of 5 figures, quite frankly, on Gemini, and that's about it. And because I got really concerned, I'm still concerned about what Coinbase said a few weeks ago. And until this gets clarity, maybe Bitcoin and Doge, the ones that actually are still proof of work, because that's the other thing that's coming out, is that everyone's talking about the fact that maybe proof of stake should be, really should be classified as some kind of investment. And now Ethereum's total proof of stake. You don't know. You don't know. But Bitcoin is a different creature. But we've always said in here, Bitcoin at the right price. And Bitcoin has not been at the right price since really last year, since the second time it tested 30,000. Here's a couple of problems. Cardano. Look, shark pattern daily, the hop level 35. You just keep sliding, making new lows. That's the Coinbase feed. There's nothing there. Nothing there. Yeah, I think let's get all the historic data. Why wouldn't we come back all the way down here? Because at this point, anybody that is above this zone here is essentially a retail trader. Anybody that's been holding his Hoskinson and his inner circle who will never sell, which is the other thing to consider from a trading perspective, that with the crypto, you're basically down to the people who will never sell, like Michael Saylor and Charles Hoskinson, and they will hold on to it if it goes to a penny or otherwise. And so then how many of the retail will hold like they hold, like they're willing to hold? Probably a very small percentage. I'd say 3 to 5% maximum, which then means this thing should do a 90 something 4%, because 886 isn't even relevant. 886 is there at 37 and you're just failing it. Think of it that way. Even if we thought the 886, even if the overall environment was a lot friendlier or bullish, if you were looking at the 886 just as a level, tell me what's going on at that level. Ugly price action. So be mindful of all of that. Where we are in terms of the crypto space in general. Here's something that's been impressive, but it's coming down. This is Chili's, and it's going to come down for the type 2. I've been impressed how long this has held up, but I want everyone to take note of it's kind of a delayed type 2. This was a real tricky one last week where we were looking at that and saying, is this really going to blow up here or what? Amazingly, all right, you almost hit the deep crab all the way there at 31, almost. But this has been over for us for a while. We were down on Chili's this summer and then hit the 17 cents, exploded, finally triggered your signal at 22. This is where you're going sideways. It can be really frustrating. You'd be like, am I wrong? Am I wrong to be out of that? Now I feel a lot better to be out of that. And you're breaking the trend line. Once you break the trend line, you will retest. And so why not come back to 11 cents on Chili's? Or even something crazy like the hop, 5 cents. I don't think these possibilities are crazy if the thing flushes, capitulates in a short period of time, which is what I think you're really looking for in crypto at this point. 2 more, 3 more weeks of some kind of disasters that flushes everybody out, then you would have everything you would want. And you'd hit your big numbers. 1 or 2 more that are obviously the topical crypto for the moment. Solana. Price action's horrible. Nothing there. We talked about ever since this triggered the daily HSI on the bearish. Okay, it's been nothing, you know, right there. Rechecked back and collapsed. And this is the bullish zone was 43 bucks. Okay, a big bat pattern. I think there was something else there. Your actual confirmation came in there. Dud, 30 days sideways. You know, trigger at 30, go to 43, and then just roll over. Trigger again sideways. It's a great example of what a true failure really looks like, where yeah, you'll stabilize, you might even trigger, but still, if you just don't follow through 10, 20 bars after the fact, you start to get skeptical. By 30, it's time to scratch. And then if you get these counter HSI signals, we know what to do. You either stay on the side or you scratch again, wait for the next signal. Now, Solana, again, I mentioned this, I think, on Twitter. You kind of have this shark. See that? Software is trying to kick out the shark, but it won't register until that really gets a little bit lower. And the thing I'm thinking about is this little down move on Solana is already at a 1618 long ago. Okay, your 1618 is right there, 21, 22. You're now 13. Really, not the fact that you're failing that level in such an extreme fashion. The only other extension I would look at is like a 1902. It doesn't work. It's not off of that one. It's off of this one. Yeah, it's off of that one. Kind of intermediate. Bring that other one up. Yeah, that was the other one. So nothing here that suggests, hey, that's done. HSI needs to come down, get oversold. Your obvious prior support levels are about to get taken out as well. And this is another situation where you're essentially left with the founders and you know, real people that want to be owners at any price. Incredibly, $2, $3, $1, who knows? Yeah, Sol does go lower from here. I don't, maybe it's not that it directly goes lower. It's something that we've been really having an issue in terms of the flailing price action. But that's something that looks like it's going, if that was a stock, I would say it's going bankrupt. They say if you don't come out of this mess securing a whole Bitcoin, you blew it. You know, so let's think about that. Okay, is Bitcoin really worth it, or is it a scam like the other ones? I think Bitcoin is a little bit different. And again, Evan, that might not be a bad idea. But at what price? At what price? Because you could jump in now and just say, all right, well, someday it's going 100,000. That's not what we do. But if there is a liquidation event, like we've seen in the last 2 situations and 3 since 2015, of that 40 to 50% drop down into a capitulation low. So where are we now? Where, you know, Bitcoin's at 16. If it dropped in 40% and could give us that capitulation move, it's not, could be maybe not now, maybe in 3 weeks, maybe in 2 weeks, 2 months, who knows? But if it did that over the course of 2-3 weekly bars, 4 weeks, put you somewhere around under 10,000, which would be a great shakeout. You would hit a lot of numbers, okay? And the possibilities that we have, that we look at, the measured possibilities that seem, hey, they seem crazy. Even when we started talking about 20,000 retest back in April, because we had some patterns at 22,000 people were like, I don't know. I mean, Bitcoin was still, think about this, Bitcoin was 42,000 6 months ago. I think there could be some kind of big washout with it. And if it's 11 or 8 or I've thrown this out before, what if this pattern wants to get retested once and for all? What if the bat pattern that set off the 2020 market wants a type 2 once and for all, finally wants to come down for a type 2 at 45.60? I'm not saying it's going there, but possibilities be under the basically your 10,000 proposition. You're either looking for a flush out, shakeout, quick under 10K, or something devastating lower where you'll still have plenty of time. And then you can think about your halving cycle and everything that seems to be a driver for these Bitcoin cycles, where the halving cycle starts March of 2024, and historically you have seen action 1 year before that. So they will probably start talking about this halving cycle come March of 2023 that will occur in March 2024. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Don't you want to take the 40% from 19K or 20K that we're in currently? Yeah, Jay, that's a great comment. Jay's saying, what if this is that final capitulation of 3 weeks down in 40 or 50%? Maybe. But that would still get you to the 11.8 minimum. 11,008, folks, harmonic minimum Bitcoin has to be, with a low end of 8,000. I'll say that. I'm favoring the 11.8 level, but we'll get a confirmation signal as well. So there's plenty of time. And I like that idea that maybe that is the start of the flush. But to get there, 11,000 would be the number. Let's keep that all kind of in our brain in terms of what we do for measuring, for what we need to consider for this crazy crypto, because I won't disagree that when it looks like it's all going to collapse, if it was the banks in 2008, if it was the internet in 2000, if it was real estate in 87, because that's what that caused that crash, you know, that moment of implosion, especially when a big organization goes down like FTX, that is a sign. Yeah, you want to see that kind of stuff. I said that months ago, where you want to see the bankruptcies. You want to see the hedge funds go get blown up. Some hedge funds are blowing up. So fundamentally, those are signs. But I still say price, and for harmonic pattern levels 11.8, we'll just stick to that. And that's what we'll keep doing, that top 5. The only other thing that I want to look at quickly, crypto. All right, the total market cap is much like Bitcoin, with your larger 886, the big possibility. And this did have patterns left and right, quite frankly. 886 at 450. You're 787, and you took out the prior low just last week. So that's total. That's with Ethereum. That's with Bitcoin. And then here's the crypto DeFi, which has been another one where beautiful pattern, failure to launch. Great confirmation right there. That's our ideal type 1 reaction setup. Checked back the next month and started to go, and could not get out of the zone, and registered a counter HSI where that says this is over. And since that counter HSI sideways to down in this zone. Nothing here until we go much lower. That's total DeFi. Hop level is 105. I would not be surprised if something like that could get to that low end of the range. Why? Because we've seen them all do it individually. Remarkable that your long-term charts have all, if they had a hop level, it went to get tested. Every one. And that's the way I'm looking at all the patterns as I go through daily, weekly crypto spaces. What's possible? I'm gonna follow a lot of what's already happened, the precedents that have taken shape of coins that have just, if they have a hop, they have a big pattern, beautiful pattern like this, and they're not reacting, book it. So at least measure from a measured point. I know where to look for. I know what to look for. All right, really quick. After what happened Friday, let's jump to the other markets. I'll get into other crypto tomorrow, but need to look at NASDAQ. This pattern, this Gartley pattern, has been dictating the whole market for NASDAQ. All the zigzags. There was actually on the 2-hour chart is the one we've been looking at because it's been back to back. You had a Gartley that went through the ideal type 1, type 2. Probably better. The Gartley's better on the 4-hour, but the 2-hour alternate bat, that was pretty spectacular to call the rally here up to the hop level. So the hop level 787. That's the maximum on this range, and for now 10.8. Everything down here, all these numbers, that zone, hop level 10.7. That's it. Are we going to roll over, or is this the start of something bigger? You got to bust out of this. Here you go, 4-hour. Keep it on the 4-hour. That's a pretty good one. We're checking back right now on a 4-hour HSI. Probably need until tomorrow to see how that shapes up, but it's pretty clear with this next test at the hop. Big surge up, amazing, right to the hop, but no follow through. Now, what are we doing? Here's HSI, checking back. Right there. There you go. Actually, checked back 2 bars ago. What's that in the pre-market? Or was that Friday? No, that was in the pre-market. We have a check back. But again, all right, really tough to see, but technically we have a check back right now, right there. 11.8, 11.811. But I've been talking all along of saying wait for the check back, so that happened there, and then 2 bars that agree with it. So it's a bearish setup. I want one more candle, one more bearish 4-hour candle. But this is brushing up against big resistance. If it can bust out, would have to close above 11.9, really. If this is going to break out and do something larger, it has to go today. Otherwise, this check back that's happening right now, the big number 11.810 on NASDAQ. Evan saying Amazon just announced us firing 10,000 employees. Yeah, listen, those are doing some amazing stuff really quick. The big fang for NASDAQ, we know there's a lot of things happening there. We know that these are type 2, most of them, but they've collapsed on the retest. There's the bat pattern on Amazon. And we were looking for the retest to about 105. It dropped to 95 at the hop. But at least at the hop, it's stabilized. As ugly as that is. Give me what I don't want to see, a check back 95 or even hit the hop here for that to be a type 2. Is that possible? I mean, could this really be a type 2 in disguise? I would want to see the check back. And we are, today's day 2. If you could get a bullish candle today, it'll be real interesting how the day shapes up. If it's not going to be too strong, you're going to have a bearish close. But you have that. You have Google doing similar things at similar patterns. You know, that one's a deep crab, type 1. But no confirmation. This had a bearish HSI as it hit the hop. That's strange action. But that's a type 1. Probably this could do a follow through where 103.50. Because there's no confirmation, I would assume that's a reaction. What are we doing here with NASDAQ? NASDAQ's even on the day. Just rallied back. Same with Dow's up 100. S&P's up 2. We could just be in a reactive climate. That's the deal. Meta, I think, is surprising everybody. But relatively speaking, all right, hop level at 97. Maybe we're early. Any confirmation? No. Incredibly. See what happens here. HSI is overbought, while amplified and standard RSI just came out of the zone. All right, let's see what goes on there. What I'm saying is plenty of time. Even though it's well off 97, there was no confirmation at the hop level. And either this is going to go back into the overbought or come out. If it comes out, I don't want anything to do with it. This could take more time, but look, you're down 65, 70%. All these patterns have shaped up quite nicely, and the strongest of all has been Apple. It's been amazing. Apple, here's the thing to look for. And again, we only need one more bullish candle this week. There's the last HSI check back at 140 on Apple. So up, comes back, checks back. Green candle, one more green candle, and I'm going to have to just say, this does want to go. This really, it does. Almost kind of like stick your nose up or hold your nose and try to buy, because this is, even with the bat pattern behind it. The bat pattern here where the type 2 come up. I mean, it's just slam up and down. It's really straight up and straight back down, but it hits and reverses right off that 886 at 134.41. Which we talked about, but now what? Does it mechanically do the move to 160? It could. Let's see what today does. I mean, we get a bullish, if we're up 100 by the close, yeah, maybe this does a real nasty run for target 2 across those board. For now, again, I think we're in that position. Apple, look at all those patterns on Apple. Just got to be patient with it, even more so with crypto. Let's line up the levels. We'll stay on top of that. We'll come back more on crypto tomorrow. We will look at crude oil tomorrow. We'll look at natural gas. Look, Boyle, UNG. They're trying to stabilize, but we'll get into them tomorrow. And let's see what happens with the drama here, the crypto drama, as we get into the rest of the week. I mean, we would want the blowups to happen now and flush it now. You don't want that to drag out. So come on back tomorrow, 12 noon, everybody. Thanks again. Great to see you. Have a great one. As always, go get them. I'll catch you tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern.